Hey guys, it's Virginia Schmidt from Divinity School. Glad to see you here today. And glad to be with you here to ground a bit today. Grounding. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of quick practical exercises for grounding. It was really beautiful today. I went to a horsemanship clinic and it was all about grounding and grounding with our horses and doing breathing exercises and learning to feel embodied in our energy, to become present and conscious of the embodiment of how our energy is showing up, that we can then bring it down. And there's also bringing it up, right? But that's another thing. Right now we're going to talk about bringing it down, rooting down and grounding. And so this will just be a short video, just a couple practical exercises. But yeah, I just want to share with you too. And I know I've got to get my camera in there with the horses, guys, and I'm going to. But there was several beautiful moments today where you'll be in a round pen with a horse going around you and you're in the middle directing them where to move their feet and where to go. And there was just such a beautiful moment with this woman, Michelle, and she was like, and grounding to ask for a walk. And you could just feel the whole energy in the entire arena just go, like root down. And in that moment, you know, the horse coming to a walk. It's really powerful. So, you know, as far as I am concerned, the lessons that we have with horses are really just lessons that apply to ourselves because they're mirrors for us, right? Our whole world is a mirror for us, as we've already talked about. So I just wanted to share a couple of quick exercises for grounding. Number one is literally just bringing your consciousness into your feet. Here, you can't see my feet. So here are my boots. They've had some wear, as you can see. So you don't have to, your feet preferably would be touching the ground as you do that, but honestly at any given time, because it's just going to let you be more embodied by bringing your energy away from being all up in your head or all up here, like all anxious, right? All high, and just grounding down. So actually just consciously bringing your energy into your feet, and preferably with your feet touching the ground. They don't have to be. And what would be awesome is being barefoot on the bare ground, you know, and then just imagining roots growing from your feet into the ground and maybe all the way down to the core of the earth. So just bringing that attention to your feet is one. Another one, and this is Allah. These two next ones are Allah, Dr. Sue Morter, also tying in some Joe Dispenza. Highly recommend Dr. Sue Morter and Dr. Joe Dispenza. And there are many, many YouTube videos and books by both of them. Two great teachers of mine whose workshops I hope to go to one day. But so just the central channel energy breathing. And you can do it both ways of sending it all the way up. And that's more Joe Dispenza, like pulling the energy always up so that you're activating the pineal gland. But we're going to talk about bringing it down. And I kept doing this today during the clinic. And you can bring it all the way down to your feet or just go to the root chakra. So imagining that you're starting up at the crown and taking an inhale. As you inhale, violet into the third eye, indigo into the throat, blue into the heart, holding there. Holding in the heart. Maybe you can suck in a little more of a breath, Kundalini style, and then exhaling down, solar plexus, sacral, all the way into the root. And maybe you go directly from your root chakra down all the way to the core of the earth, or maybe you bring it from your root chakra into your legs through the feet to the core of the earth. But doing this central channel breathing, as you are inhaling, you're seeing each one of these chakras light up. So you're inhaling from the crown, lights up, your crown chakra lights up violet, inhaling into the third eye, still lights up indigo, into the throat, lights up blue, into the heart where you're holding it and maybe taking a little bit more, this gorgeous, giant, glowing green light, and then exhaling through the solar plexus yellow, down through the sacral, orange, activating, down through the root, red, and then maybe directly from there, or imagining it goes all the way down through your feet. But just imagining that that exhale is grounding you down into the earth, down into the earth. So in Barbara Brennan's books, Hands of Light and Light Emerging, which I cannot recommend enough, I like the way that her graphics, and you might just be able to Google Barbara Brennan Hands of Light or Light Emerging graphics of chakras, and maybe in Google Images you can see it. But I love the way that she shows that, the top and bottom, our crown and root chakra, they're like, they're open, right? So to connect with the earth and to connect with the heavens. And right, so here we are, our heart, our humanity, we're this meeting place, between the heavenly realms and the earthly realms. That's what it is to be in this human body, to be spirits in this human body. And so often we have so much going on up here. And so this is like, grounding is just a practice of embodiment, of getting more of your energy into your full body and getting more connected with that open funnel that connects us with Mother Earth. So that's our root chakra. If our root chakra is like this open funnel that's pulling up energy from Mother Earth. And so when we can send our energy down into Mother Earth, you'll feel the difference. It's very grounding. It's very grounding. And so the last one that I wanted to talk about, I had this idea today because actually, I'll tell you why. I was driving behind someone who I realized that I knew that, like, but they were like further ahead of me, but I was like, oh, I know that person. We both have Land Cruisers. So, and I felt sort of this level of discomfort in like the energy there. And I felt this energy between us, felt a bit ungrounded from seeing this person. And so then I kind of combined these two Sue Mortar exercises. I've talked about this one before, but I imagined that, that beautiful cord that goes out from my solar plexus to others. And I've talked about this quite a lot. It came up also today during the horse clinic, which was really cool. Again, when you're asking a horse to move anywhere really, but in a round pen, it's all energy work, you guys. You're sending your energy, asking for that. And the woman who was teaching this part was talking about how you're imagining that there is a cord, I kid you not, and of energy flowing from the horse's solar plexus to yours. And so Elizabeth Haish talks about this in Initiation, where she starts to be able to see this. It's in a lot of different places, which is how you know that you're onto something, right? When it's showing up from all these different sources. And can be applied to horses. Sorry, I had to do that rhyme there. Couldn't let that one slip away. But so what I imagined when I was in the car behind this person, I imagined something Sue Mortar has talked about of inhaling. I inhaled that yellow cord of like my will back into my solar plexus. I inhaled that sort of power that I was giving away and imagining to be outside of me, just back into me. But then from that inhale there, and I held it there and kind of like kept it in my solar plexus and imagining it kind of in that place, like kind of almost both in my heart and solar plexus. And then I did the exhale down all the way into the ground and rooting it in there. And I don't know, because that was like kind of some energy that I needed the earth to take. And this actually right now makes me think of a really great movie that I would recommend called Kiss the Ground. It's a documentary. It's also a book. I've only watched the documentary. It's on Netflix. But the whole premise is about how we can essentially reverse a lot of the effects of, our carbon legacy load and global warming just by having more plants, like more cover crops, more cover on the ground, because what roots do is they sequester carbon, and they can hold huge loads of carbon and like take it from the air and hold it, infinitely, pretty much, as far as we're concerned. And so that was kind of what the feeling was like. It was like there was this, there was too much like kind of like anxious energy going on. I pulled back my power So you can always do that exercise at any time. If anyone or anything, any situation is bothering you, you can imagine that energy cord that's going from your solar plexus to the center and the core of that person or thing, and just take an inhale and inhale it back into your heart. And maybe you want to send that down to Mother Earth to take into the ground, to root down, and she can take that energy and turn it into something nutritional and something beneficial. So it's like pulling your power back to you. And if it was something that there was, something that you're ready to ground into the earth, to give to the earth, sending it down. And of course, you could also send it the other way. You could also send it up to the heavens. I'm just focusing on grounding, because grounding feels like so powerful for me. And maybe it does for you too. And that is, if you're watching this video, it probably is. So the last thing I wanted to say in regards to this is, really this is just another way of us talking about coming back to presence, coming back to peace, coming back to stability and calm, and then living and acting and being from that place, right? So when we ground down our energy, the first thing we must do is come back to the present moment in order to do that. So anything that brings us back to the present, any intention that truly brings us back to the present, is very powerful in that way. But I just wanted to bring it up because, at least for me, I feel like yesterday I was working with playing with two of our foals, two of our little baby horses. And I was doing, it was a bit unorthodox what I was doing, but I was letting them, I had the barn closed on both sides, and I was letting them just at liberty follow me around as I was cleaning stalls. But when it came time for me to get them back into their stall, I was in a hurry, okay? So I got very frustrated, and it ended up in this big wreck. Thank goodness nothing bad happened, but I was, trying to use a wheelbarrow to block a pathway, to say don't go that way, go this way. And our little filly Foxy, who's in some of my videos, she just went right over the wheelbarrow and knocked it over and broke the wheel. She was fine. Not a big deal with the wheelbarrow, but big learning opportunity, right? The whole thing happened, and I could feel myself when I was doing it. Instead of taking a moment to come back to the present and ground, and I'm on the journey, so I will get there. I was my energy was getting up here, and I'm and this is gonna work, right? This is the last thing that is going to bring me what I desire here, which is release and peace and relaxation, that I think will only come after they're back in their stall, but in fact that I must come to now in order to gently get them into their stall. But my point was that with that as well is I just think that so many accidents happen from a jerky energy, like a really high flighty, jerky energy, It's a lot of car wrecks. It's you jerk the steering wheel, or you slam on the brake on ice. And yesterday, whereas I know, and again, I can be thankful that situation happened. Thank you, Ho'opono ono. Thank you for that chance for atonement. I'm sorry that I allowed myself to totally get in a hurry, even while observing how toxic it was. I love you. Please forgive me for not being the best steward and, a herd leader to you guys that I could have been. But my point in this is, I really feel so many accidents that are very genuinely avoidable happen because everything gets all flighty and erratic and all over the place. And so just coming more and more back to that place of being grounded. And so because I know that if I had stopped yesterday as my energy was starting to get to that place, and I was literally getting to the point of chasing them, it doesn't work, guys. Don't. Again, learning opportunity, but low point for sure. I know that if I had just stopped and taken 10 seconds to do one of these breathing exercises, or even just to imagine again my energy, you know, rooting me down, going into my feet and rooting me down into the ground, that wouldn't, you know, the wheelbarrow wouldn't have broken and Foxy wouldn't have gotten freaked out. So again, I can say thank you for that happening genuinely, because it was a chance for atonement. And it's kind of all of these things, right? Showing us like, okay, you're really good at being grounded when everything's like calm. And then seeing, okay, you know, you're really good in your relationships with horses when everything's going well. And then what happens when it's not? And that's the real time to use these exercises. That's the real time to consciously come back to grounding and consciously, you know, get fully embodied so that you have that full embodiment of wisdom. Because, you know, each one of these energetic minds that I have, I desire all of that wisdom to help me, especially when I'm doing, you know, things like connecting with animals and training foals that haven't been trained. Like, I need all of that energetic wisdom, not just this crazy thing going on up here, going, you know, into overdrive, out of control. And again, being in a hurry. And I think I'll end by saying, when we're grounded, I think it helps us get into the appropriate rhythm for where we are. Being in a hurry is, you know, again, that jerky energy, the opposite of rooted, grounded, is never going to bring you the results you're looking for, because it's the energy of being in a hurry. And so when that's the energy and intention, even if you seem to have done it well, like, how did it feel while you were doing it? And you know how I want to feel, guys? Grounded. So anyway, I hope that this resonates, and I am really glad that I got to make this video, and I do look forward to bringing the camera in with the horses more. More and more, it's so clear to me that everything that I'm learning about and continuing to practice more with horses is extremely applicable to humans. And there is a sacred relationship between horses and humans, as you know, an ancient sacred relationship. And I think that is in large part, I think a really big part of that for us as humans is that we can see ourselves. Like, horses allow us to see ourselves if we're willing to look in a way that is both humbling and empowering. And so, you know, horses make it really obvious for us, but look at what your environment is reflecting wherever you are. And if your environment seems to be reflecting franticness, that's your projection, you know, that's your flavor, that's your frequency that you're on. So coming back to that grounding, and then, you know, maybe if your environment is that you're with a horse, you'll get to see, as you ground down, you'll get to see them lower their head and start to lick and chew, and you'll feel everything become more rooted. So I want to hear what grounding looks like for you guys, what, you know, just what's coming up for you as you watch this video, and how you are grounding yourself, feeling more rooted, and staying in your power and connected to the earthly part of ourselves in an energetically potent and powerful way. All right. Love you guys. I will talk to you soon. Mwah. Happy Sunday.